Solana ETFs record over $400 million in inflows, but Solana breaks its 211-day uptrend and loses key technical support. We're going to talk a little bit more on that, but welcome back to the Solana family. Thanks for all the love that you guys show. But yeah, let's take a closer look and see what's happening with Sol right now as we are going into Wednesday morning. So looking across the board, I'm sure at this point you guys are well aware as to what's happening. If not, we're briefly going to go over, what has happened with the broader market. If you watched my yesterday's update, just hold on to that. I'll tell you why that was so important. But before we get into any further, though, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. Yes, you're seeing a little bit of a bounce, for the broader market over the last, 1 hour or so. But again, on a 24-hour time frame, we've seen a major retracement. And obviously, if you're looking at it on a weekly and a monthly time frame, it speaks for itself, as you can see. Solana's price right now, $157.71. We're down about 1% on the USD side of things, but we're actually up about 1.7% on the Bitcoin side of things. Valuation $86.8 billion dollars, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $11.6 billion dollars. Moving forward, you could see Forward Industries, the largest Solana treasury company, has filed a resale prospect, supplement with the SEC for shares issued in its September 2025 pipe and announced a new 1 billion share repurchase program authorized through September 2027. And we're talking about the biggest Solana treasury company. And we're noticing a very similar pattern playing out across the space. It's not just happening within Solana. You're starting to see that happening with XRP, and obviously with Bitmine doing it with Ethereum, MicroStrategy doing it with Bitcoin. You guys notice what is happening. But with that being said, let's take a look at what I discussed with you guys yesterday. Just in my last video, which was last night, you could see for yourself, I talked to you guys about Bitcoin was sitting at $104,500 that time. And I told you guys how, we could see Bitcoin, if it were to drop below the $100,000, Solana will retest the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level. And look what ended up happening. Look what ended up happening. The price of Solana went down to $145.60, exactly as we projected in our update yesterday. So what happened? If you're looking at the dominance, speaks for itself. Where was it last night? It was sitting at about 60%. We went up to 61.3%. So, quite a sharp increase. And that itself, obviously, when Bitcoin is going to go down and you see the complete opposite happen on the Bitcoin dominant side of things, you understand that, that is going to have an impact on the altcoins in a negative way. And when I say you understand, I'm meaning, people that view the channel on a regular day-to-day basis on the Crypto ZX channel, because this is something I emphasize time in, time out. But if this is your first time coming onto the channel, number one, welcome to the family. Subscribe if you have not done so already. And now you know something, and hopefully that helps you. But again, looking at Bitcoin, you can see for yourself, Bitcoin, like I said, saw the price pull below $100,000. We came down to $98,800, seen a little bit of a bounce. Again, I'm not buying this bounce unless, of course, we get back to the 23.6, especially above our confirmation. We can even go up to the likes of $103,000. Even if the price of Bitcoin is able to go back up to $107,000, I am still not buying it. I've been in this space for quite some time, seen major fake outs left and right. A lot of people, originally when I was talking about, the filling the wick part, for Bitcoin, a lot of people were calling me crazy. There's no way that's going to happen. But here we have it. It doesn't always happen right off the bat. It does take, a few weeks sometimes even takes months actually, for the price to actually fill that wick. This time around, it took about, 3 weeks for it to, get back and, retest below and lose that six-figure price point support that, we were above since June of this year. But with that being said, let's take a look at what's happening with Sol. So of course, with the bounce that we're seeing with Bitcoin right now and the dominance kind of cooling off, you did see Solana bouncing back. Again, it's no secret. You can see for yourself where Solana is having a little bit of a hard time breaking out of here at the $157.63. Clear resistance for us, because this it kind of dates back to even the previous cycle, and this was our support yesterday. As the price was pulling down, we were being supported by that key range. Now that is playing as a resistance, so that is quite funny in my opinion. But let's take a closer look at Solana and see what's really happening here. So if you're looking at Sol, you can see for yourself, it came down to $145.72. Since then, a nice bounce for Solana. Again, we have seen about a 9% move towards the upside. We could potentially even get back up to our $166 price point. Again, a very important key resistance. You guys know I've been talking about this level for such a long time. I could see this happening. Obviously, if Bitcoin goes back up to $107,000, we could even break above this key range. But do I personally think that it is, a time to be jumping around? No. Simple as that. I still think Bitcoin is going to retest below $100,000. And I have a feeling we do see Bitcoin, following this trend that I've shared with you guys. And again, this is my opinion. And again, I would love to be wrong. I would love to see the price of Bitcoin get back into the 23.6, but I think we are going to see a little bit of a further, downside for Bitcoin before we start heading towards the upside. So again, that's how I'm currently looking at it as far as Sol is concerned. Like I said, if this were to be a bounce for Bitcoin and we do push back up to the $107,000 price point, we could see Sol getting back up to $174. I think that would be the next key resistance above the 166. But again, first and foremost, let's look out for this key range before we can start focusing on the other one. But again, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I know a lot of the Solana holders, based off of what I hear from you guys, and obviously on CT as well. A lot of people on the Solana side of things are in for the long haul, so they don't really care if the price of Solana were to pull down again because they are long term holders. But again, the people that are not long term holders and they want to lock in profits, and if you're losing some sleep because your portfolio is going down, but you're still in profit because you got in early, but you want to lock in profits and you cannot afford to see the prices, go towards the downwards trend, then guess what? That is the best time to lock in profits, because if you're just going to be sitting here and waiting for the price of Solana to head back to all-time highs with the market conditions that we're in, then no, then again, don't be surprised if the price were to do the complete opposite with the market conditions that we're in. But again, majority of the people on the Solana side of things, based off of what I see continuously, are in it for the long haul. So of course, if that's the case, if you're dollar cost averaging in and your horizon is obviously the next 5-10 years, then again, holding is your number one key to follow. But again, with that being said, that doesn't mean there's no risk associated with any coin. Even Bitcoin brings risk, even Ethereum brings risk, Solana brings risk, XRP. So obviously that's where the due diligence aspect comes into play. As you guys know, my personal opinion, not financial advice. I'm personally very bullish on Solana long term. And again, we'll see what happens as time goes by. But this is how I'm currently analyzing Sol. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I think a lot happening for Solana blockchain right now. One thing that I'm looking forward to in the near future is going to be the launch of, I'm sorry, not the launch of the airdrop that's coming up, and that's the Jupiter airdrop. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to really see how the Jupiter airdrop looks this year. Reason why I say that is because last year when Jupe did the airdrop, we were seeing so much on-chain activity happening, right? And obviously there were a lot of users, but this time around, it makes me wonder how that is going to look like, because we haven't really seen that much retail interest, and even meme coin side of things have been quite slow. Meme coins, if you've been noticing, the narrative could be very strong on a meme coin, but last year that same type of narrative might have pulled in 50, 100 million. I'm not going to name any specific project, but now you're not seeing that type of momentum kicking in. So obviously, meme coins are already too saturated because there's like thousands of meme coins launching every second. But with that being said, obviously they're very risky. But there's a lot of things to factor in. But I'm very excited to see how that is going to look. And again, people that are staking Jupiter, I think might, do good this time around. They might give them a bigger pie. Again, these are speculations that we're just making, but that is something I'm looking forward to see how that is going to look like. But enough with the rant. I'm gonna wrap it up here. A shout out to you guys for showing so much love. Give yourself a pat on the back if you're still here. Watching the video, coming in day by day. And again, follow me on X if you have not done so already, and we'll see you later. It's been Crypto ZX, and peace out.